For sure. Archie looks like he's itching to ask a question.
Hit me, Archie. Hit me.
Yeah, man. That's cool. Let's get into like the martial arts part of it. Were you able to train
Sure.
at all, or were you training during school, or did you get any mat time?
Yeah, so my first year, which was the worst as far as the demand on my time, my first year at law school. When I was an undergrad, I did I did karate, and I could move my schedule around. I worked full time, but I had a real flexible schedule and stuff. And I had no kids, so if I wanted to go to the gym at 8 o'clock at night and get it in, I could. But once you get kids, and then you got to change your schedule up. But in my first year of law school, I was only able to train jiu-jitsu like 2 days a week. And I would usually train in the evenings. No kids at that time again. But then after the first year, you get to make your own schedule. So I basically loaded myself up Tuesday, Thursday. I was basically at school from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would go in and I would train in the morning. I'd come home and do my homework. And then I'd go back to the gym and train in the evening. So I'd do like 5 hours. I put like 5 hours in. And I would do like, a good 8 hours of homework though. Like they load you up in law school.
Yeah.
They don't mess around. You get so much reading. They literally, and I read a bunch of books like How to Succeed in Law School, right? Like I'm one of those guys like, all right, I got to get ahead of the curve here. Literally, because law school is a forced curve. They give you more work than you can do intentionally. And they do that because they know when you get to a firm and you're a junior associate, they're going to give you more work than you can do. And they just expect you to figure out a way to get it done and get into class and have the answers. And you just got to figure out a way to get it done and get into class and have the answers. And it's not like in undergrad or really any other school program, because they use the Socratic method. You guys know what the Socratic method is? Mm-hmm. It's a question-answer method. So their way of educating you is to have you stand up and just hit you with questions about the reading. Mr. Brodnax, I always call you by your last name. What do you think about this piece of that? Do you think that was a tort? Do you think he was guilty? What do you think about this fact? Sometimes they'll ask you facts that weren't even there, that didn't even occur. Just to like keep you on your toes. And they'll throw curveballs at you. Well, okay, but what if this happens? They'll change the hypothetical. They'll change the facts. Well, sir, that wasn't in the, okay, but I'm asking you now. Hypothetically, if that happened, how would that change them? And you're up in front of 200 kids who you don't know, and they're all smart, man. Like, boy, that was an eye-opening experience for me, because I was hot shit. I was hot stuff at Cal State Long Beach. I literally had the highest GPA in the entire department. I actually got hit up at my law firm. They call you for donations when you graduate from a school. And the guy called me and he was like, "Hi, this is Nathan Brodnax." I was like, "Yeah, this is Nathan Brodnax." And he's like, "Hey man, I'm in the philosophy department over here." I was like, "Cool, man. It's a great program." He's like, "The teachers here still talk about how you messed up every curve on every test that they gave." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you're like the curve breaker. Like you broke every curve." I was like, I thought that was so funny. I was like, "Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's good to know." But then I got to law school, and every kid in law school is like that. Every kid in law school is the smartest kid from their school, smarter than me. A lot of these kids are smarter than me. And I just was like, oh crap. And here's the crappy thing too about my full ride, my scholarship. So it was academic scholarship, full scholarship. But they intentionally give out, to keep it, you need to be in the top 10% or you lose it. They give out more scholarships and there's going to be kids in the top 10%, knowing that a certain number of these kids, they'll get one free year. And then you're not going to leave. You're going to borrow money to stay. Right. So I was sweating it because I did not have the resources to pay for that school. And I actually had a friend and she lost her scholarship after the first year and she was bummed out about it. She had to borrow and do loans and stuff. But man, I was stressing. I was like, dude, I got to keep this GPA up. These kids are all brainiacs. And the other thing that was getting into my psyche was the first day during orientation, they put you into groups, 8 to 10 kids. It's a meet and greet, blah, blah, blah. And you go around the group. Where'd you go to undergrad? What is your family like? And it was all trust fund kids. They all went to Berkeley and Stanford and all these big fancy schools. And I was like, I went to Cal State Long Beach. I was the only Cal State kid and the whole dang place. So that got into my head a little bit. Like, do I even belong here with these brainiacs? Like they all got perfect scores on their SATs and they all went to private high schools. Like, I don't think any of them have gone to public schools either, like a public high school. Not only the ones in my group. They didn't even know about that public school life, that free cheese pizza you get, like they know nothing about that.